hear from Leonard.
Okay. Okay.
And after Leonard will be Brandy Fled.
Maybe
that person.
Madam Chair, and to Representative Mustard, maybe read two names so that, because there is a delay in the hall, so that if they're in the hall, they can kind of queue up.
Okay, so we have Reuben Maupin, followed by Leonard Clark, followed by Brandy Feld.
Please,
Madam Chair, committee members, let me first say that what got us here happened years ago when a Republican-controlled Congress decided to gut the Voting Rights Act and not reauthorize it. Subsequently, the Supreme Court decided that states like Arizona were no longer subject to preclearance, so we can make arbitrary election rules and changes as we see fit, even though we have a long history of voter suppression and discrimination in this state. What happened on Election Day, I'm not excusing it, but we have to look at what is going to happen now. Will there be a new election for people that did not vote in the presidential preference? Absolutely not. Is the recorder going to resign? Absolutely not. Are any of you calling for a criminal probe or asking for her to be criminally charged? No, that's not what's happening. So we have to deal with what we're handed. What happened to voters was terrible. There's no excusing it. But since the recorder isn't leaving unless she's voted out on Election Day or is reelected on Election Day, we have to work with the person who's in that office. So I'm interested in what Representative Mesnar said just a few minutes ago. If you missed it, you should have been listening. Where do we go from here with respect to elections? I met with her the day after this happened to make sure that this wouldn't happen again to people in my community. I, too, stood in line with folks at the South Phoenix Community Center, Central and Alta Vista, who waited hours and hours in line in order to vote. When I met with the recorder, we made it very clear. I was angry. I went in there to slay Goliath. But what I found were two women who admitted that they made a mistake and didn't want it to happen again. So some of the things we got them to agree to do was a 300% increase in polling places, 724 locations, one for every precinct in the county. In addition to any African-American churches, and I think they would agree any other churches that want to be polling places, allowed to come in and be polling places. So now we may even have multiple locations in individual precincts. All new electronic voter rolls will replace existing machines. An increased number of poll workers and extra voting machines, public information campaign, the formation of a minority advisory board to review and monitor the elections and give input before and after they happen, and a commitment from county elections leaders to further educate the public and make sure we know what it means to be an independent or a Democrat or a Republican with respect to this. We know we need law changes so independents can participate. We know that perhaps we need a new county recorder. We know that there's a lot of reforms that need to take place. We know that the Voting Rights Act needs to be restored and enforced.
Reverend.
But until that happens, we have to work within the framework that we have here. There will be no Department of Justice investigation. We know that as well. And so I urge everyone to work with the county and the recorder and try to move forward with what we can do to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Representative.
Next individual.